Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. Today we're taking a look at the largest and I think the coolest set to come from the LEGO Marvel Infinity Wars line. This is the most recent line for LEGO Marvel and it is based on the Infinity Wars movie. This is the Sanctum Sanctorum Showdown set, not to be confused with last year's Sanctum Sanctorum set. This is actually a 16 by 16 foldable New York style building. So with one side being Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum and the other side being, let's see if it stays closed, Peter Parker's apartment. So you can see some spider webs and other things. It looks a little bit more basic, but I think the coolest part about this building for sure, and I'm really satisfied with the building all around, but the coolest part is definitely this sort of build that we have here in the front. We get a lot of really cool guys. We get Cull Obsidian, Ebony Maw, of course Iron Man, Iron Spider-Man with the Iron Man suit, or the sort of better Iron Man suit for Spider-Man there, and then of course Doctor Strange. So lots of good building here. I do want to first get into the minifigs. I will say very quickly though, this is a 1,004 piece set. It sells for $100 in the States, €100 or 90 pounds. So starting off with the minifigs, this is the first guy here. He's my favorite. This is Iron Spider-Man. I think the printing for the arms is probably my favorite part about him, just because we've got that nice combination of dark blue, red, and the gold highlights. A bit of that gold spider webs across the front to make up the spider symbol on his chest. It also looks really good on his back, but then a part that is new, very new, it's used on the Outriders and Spider-Man. This neck bracket piece gives the ability to attach 4 arms that kind of splay out across the back of the minifig. This would have been really good for a Dr. Octopus guy back in the early 2000s, but it works especially well for the Iron Spider. I have a feeling we might see it used for a Venom fig later down the line. But yeah, the Iron Spider-Man is awesome, and this here is Iron Man. This is the same detailing for the Iron Man fig that came out in another one of the Infinity Wars sets, though he doesn't have quite as big of a build that attaches onto his back. In general, I say the best part about the detailing for this guy is that they really embraced adding a lot of red highlights to him to give just a bit more dimension to the armor. So he's still molded in dark red, but you can see the chest has some actual red printed on it, and it just kind of makes that chest and sort of the ab part of the armor pop a little bit more in between the riveted plates. The print for his face now has sort of that targeting system printed across it. That's a pretty common shot that we see throughout all of the movies that basically have Iron Man in them. And yeah, he's a solid looking guy. I like that the eyes on the outside of the mask have the just a little bit of light blue there. And I'd say out of the sort of standard suit Iron Man figs, the ones that all kind of conventionally look pretty similar, this one is one of my favorite versions. I guess finishing off the good guys, this here is Doctor Strange. He's got printing that go down onto the legs. Also, let me just say that out of all of the sets that came out for this wave, the minifigs all have printing on their legs, which is not common for this particular wave. A lot of the other characters they sort of skipped out on. So I feel like they spent just a little bit more time, effort, energy, detail on the minifigs for this set compared to the other ones, and it really shows. I like the white streak that goes through his hairpiece. He's got some good expressions. And let me just say Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. Well, Doctor Strange and Iron Man specifically came with a ton of those new blaster pieces. You can sort of switch out different types of shots and make sort of a combination of either he's shooting, he's blocking, he's blasting. And now these parts I think are going to be super common amongst LEGO builders and collectors, so I have a feeling we're going to see some really fun combinations with these kinds of parts later down the line, but right now there's actually a lot of versatility with these pieces that you can use in the set. So checking out the bad guys, let's look at the big fig first. This is Cull Obsidian. And you can see that the base body and the arms are pretty much the same standard mold that we get for a lot of big fig guys. And really, The different part of him, the part that is molded different, is the area along the shoulder and the head. Pretty good detailing actually that makes it the sort of spiky look on his head. Kind of reminds me of a Klingon somewhat. He's got one shoulder pauldron on the side, and his weapons are a couple of brick-built hammers attached with a chain. Solid looking bad dude. I like the orange highlights. But in general, the color combination, I guess, doesn't grab me compared to maybe some of the other figs in the set. Ebony Maw, I would say, is a very kind of interesting looking bad guy, mostly because the head is that nice aqua blue color. It's a little bit eerie, especially when you see the back. There is some of those wisps of gray hair. He kind of is old and kind of creepy and nasty looking, which is sort of juxtaposed with this kind of hyper modern, clean cut, sort of spacesuit looking thing for the detailing on the body. He comes with these yellow sort of clip-on blaster pieces that can shoot out of his hands. And I don't know much about the character right now, but he's definitely an interesting and kind of strange figure. Now, when it comes to the Sanctum Sanctorum, there are a lot of really good building ideas that I think went into the creation of this, well, building. First, I was thinking that it might not have been such a good idea to add the red highlights for all of the little plungers, all of the little sort of breakaway techniques. There's even one that there's a function right there on the roof that also has a little bit of a red highlight. But basically there are a few red highlights that kind of let you know when and where to sort of push in or pull out of a certain thing to either allow a trap door or blow off a window or something like that. And I think it actually works pretty well because there's so many functions that you might lose track of all the different things that you can do in this set, which is great. I don't know how many functions there are. I didn't count, but as I go through this, maybe we'll count and we'll see how many functions we have. Some of them are destructions and some of them are just kind of fun sort of action functions as well. So anyways, the interior is pretty solid. One half is Doctor Strange, one half is Peter Parker. I know it doesn't really make sense when you close the thing off because the rooms would be combined, so you know, one half of the inside of the room would technically be Peter Parker and the other half would be Doctor Strange on the inside, but it makes sense for just a visual sort of smorgasbord to look at. Doctor Strange on the left and Peter Parker on the right. Makes sense, and I think it actually works for the build pretty well. So starting high, I suppose, and going low, we're gonna check out the third floor, what's on the inside. The inside here for Doctor Strange is his study. So we've got a skull and some books, as well as a lit candle, lots of papers. He's always got papers and letters kind of piled up everywhere. And then, of course, more stuff on his bookshelf. Let's see if I can pick it up. Yeah, that's a little bit easier. And then I just love that silhouetted printed piece for the actual Sanctorum itself. So he's got the desk, a few more things there. Any of the detailing, like that detailing on there, that is a sticker piece. Mostly stickers in this set, minus of course that really cool printed bit right there. For Peter Parker, this is his bedroom. This is the least detailed room, I think, in the entire set. He's got a pizza, or a slice of pizza, on the floor there. His bed. A few little sticker details that might have some Easter eggs in there, if you want to check that out. And then this is just a storage area. There's nothing in that room. Okay. Moving down to the second floor. Second floor for Peter Parker. This is his study, his lab. You can see some blueprints or plans for his old spider suit down there. Computer. Looks like a microscope or a lamp. More sticker detailing. More little Easter egg. Actually, looks like a map of New York. Once again, storage. Not quite as much stuff in there. You might see, I think that's Pete's stuff, it says, as the sticker. And then when we get to the second floor of Doctor Strange, this has the coolest, one of my favorite functions in the entire set. Looks like there's a little bit of a battle room. He's got a chest with, I believe there's daggers in there. But this is one of my favorite parts. Let me put it down and let me show you what that function is. Because there's this, and this is the only function that doesn't have a red opening or a red little highlight for you. And the way it works is you kind of have to open this up at sort of a 90-degree angle, and then you can twist this all the way. But I will show you what that does when you twist it. So let me turn it all the way around, and here we go. This, let's say it's closed or almost closed. We've got a nice solid looking wall, and one of those directions. There we go. And behind the study, I love this. We actually have the time stone. Every single set comes with an infinity stone. That's a really fun thing. You wouldn't actually know it's in there. You can kind of see it through the window, but it's hidden away within Doctor Strange's study. I really, really like that function. And like all of the functions, it's super easy to just get the wall or the window or something right back in place. All right, so let's check out the third floor, the interior of the bottom area. I think that has some of my favorite detailing for Peter Parker for sure. It is the pizzeria, so it's not actually technically Peter Parker's spot, but this is the pizzeria that would be in his area. So we've got a stone oven with the little, I don't know what they call that, but I think that's the sort of mallet or the piece that's used for actually taking the pizza out of the oven. There is a little barrel for what looks like beer or root beer or some kind of soft drink. We actually have a little bit of a function in this room as well. There's a pizza, fire extinguisher, register, pretty much everything that you would find within an actual pizzeria itself. But when you turn it around, let me just show you. All right, so there's this nice little red plunger. Like I said, pretty much all the action functions have this, and you push it in, boom, nice and easy. The thing comes out, and it's so easy to get the parts back in. That's one of my favorite things about all the destruction functions. They're all simple to activate and very, very simple and easy to put back in. And that makes it sort of more fun and probably more likely that you're gonna keep on playing around with the function. So that's really fun. Anyways, really good interior for the pizzeria, and that's a super solid play function. Moving on to Doctor Strange, I would say this is his least interesting room. There's a lamp, little chain. This might actually be a lamp that's based on something from the comic books. Sorry if I don't know what that is. And then actually a pretty good looking lounge chair. There's a real Lego minifig chair kind of built into that. And then just a ton of really fun sort of slope and kind of arch pieces used to make it look like a nice big fat cushy, probably like a leather armchair, I'm gonna guess. Pretty decent. All right, let's check out the exterior. Now that we're looking at the exterior, I totally forgot one of the functions in Peter Parker's room on the third floor, so let me just show it to you very quickly. There was a little red plunger right at the top. There it is. There we go. You see that? Let me try that again. So you push it back in. This is a little trap door that you can have for Peter Parker's third floor that drops into the storage room in the second. And the way that works on the outside here is just this little red plunger there. So you just pull that, and the whole thing drops open. Okay, now let's check out the interior. Sorry, exterior. Oh boy. Favorite part of the whole build. I love the slanted roof. There's actually a pretty good sort of bit of building. It clips down and it kind of comes in at an angle. You fold it and then you add this, this bit of extra building, and then the roof itself doesn't want to come back out again. But we have the flat little window sills that still rest at the 90-degree angle. They go totally vertical, and there's just that subtle little bit of roof that kind of comes down at the slant. It looks really nice, definitely my favorite bit. And then of course, just in general, I think Doctor Strange's detailing for his area is much nicer. We've got the columns. This is very reminiscent of sort of the brick bank. We have a lot of those bullion pieces used to make up what looks like stone. And yeah, just in general, this is a much cooler looking thing. And it's supposed to look better. Peter Parker's apartment's always kind of a little bit ratty, a little bit run down. Personally, I'm not a fan, like at all, of these open Technic bits that are out here. This doesn't look quite as bad, but the open Technic and this just really, I don't think it looks that great. This bit of the roof detailing is all right with the with those clip pieces, but yeah, the exterior for the pizza place is nice. This part of the building, definitely the ugliest. It's a little bit intentional. Blue bits of Technic pins that aren't the greatest. Once again, that I can kind of live with a little bit more than that Technic bit. This is probably my least favorite part of the build, but all in all, I'd say visually it looks really good. Now it looks good this way. It also looks very good this way. I would say there's nothing that kind of clips it and kind of keeps it from opening, so as I twist it or something, if I pull it one way, it's going to want to open up. That trash can kind of just fell right out. Closed off, it's solid. It's 16 by 16 minus maybe, you know, this would stick out a little bit more than 16 on one side. If this wall was to go against a building, you'd have to take out these little nubs or something. It's a solid building that could definitely fit into a Lego city pretty easily. There's a few more functions that I think work really well. First of all, this is the spider web, one of the spider webs for Spider-Man. red little bit so you know it does something. Nice and easy, it just fits so, oh, I love that it just can fit so easily in there. There it is, it's just kind of like a little lever. Blows out a window right next to his bed. And then there's one more function. I'm gonna use Spider-Man to show it off to you guys. You notice that that's kind of wobbly at the top. First I thought that was kind of like a bad bit of building. I was like, why is the water tank so wobbly? But it's wobbly because it performs a pretty good function. So get that nice and tight at the top. There's a plunger in the back. You really want to pop them off. There you go, and he falls and it slides down. See, there's sort of a natural bit of tension. Zoom it all the way back up, push this back, get it nice and tight as you can. Maybe actually leave that a little bit loose so you don't have to plunge it so hard. And do it again, and he falls down. It's so cool. I really like that. It's such a creative little function. Of course, you could just add, let's say, like a bad guy in there. Like you could just have him stand there and just knock him off if you wanted. But I really like using it for Spider-Man and sort of how he lowers himself down onto the ground floor. That's my favorite bit. That is my favorite function that I've seen for a building in a super long time. And I believe that is all the functions in the entire building. Very quickly, this is the corner piece that is a little bit modular. You can stick it onto either side of the building. We've got a little newspaper stand with an article that says Crime Floods Street, and that is a legit Easter egg for what I believe is the Daredevil. And similar, there's actual sticker prints. They're not just standard newspaper prints. They look like they're holding the same newspaper article there. Is there anything in the trash can? I can't remember. I believe there is something in there. Yeah, a bone is in the trash can. And then you can also see some pizza slices. One of these was just a spare, but I added it in. So there's actually, I think there's 4 quarter pizza slices that are printed. So if you gather them all up, you can actually make an entire pizza in slices if you want. And a cell phone piece that's stuck in a web in what looks like maybe boxes. I don't really know, but yeah, so that's the little fun corner piece. It's a little bit of an extra build if you like to attach it. Yeah, all right, let's move to the whole set together. All right, so in conclusion to this video, I would say this is a really solid set, especially when you look at it in context of everything else that came out for the Marvel Infinity Wars line. The part to price ratio is great. It's basically exactly 1,000 pieces, 1,004 pieces, selling for $100, €100 or 90 pounds. That's a really good part to price ratio. Usually when a licensed set like this has a price like that, it means that you didn't get a lot of minifigs, but that's not the case with this. You get a big fig, which usually is not quite as common, and 4 minifigs. They all have leg printing, which is once again, not that common for this particular wave for Infinity War sets. And in general, I think the detailing for all of them is really good. The functions for this are all super solid. I like actually that there is that little bit of red highlighting. If you're not a big fan of having those little sort of indicators for the different type of action functions, you can switch them out or just take them off. That's really not that hard. And the detailing for this, especially for this section, this is a little bit lacking here. But for this section, this is just as good as any of the LEGO Creator Set exteriors, I would say. Really, really solid. It's my favorite set to come from the Marvel Infinity Wars line. I think they did a really good job with this one being the sort of flagship set. And yeah, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy our content and want to help support the channel, you should consider heading on down to our web store, BrickVault.toys. We've got a lot of really awesome builds in the store already, and with every set of instructions that you purchase, it helps support us here at the channel, as well as the amazing builders that go into making these mocks. We're going to be adding regularly to the store, so be sure to keep on checking back, and thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time at BrickVault.